conference tournament's in full swing and Selection Sunday only a few days away, you know what that means. It's March. So stay tuned as we break down, analyze some of the madness, and maybe a little magic too. All that and more coming up on 1-0 Sports.
Texas finally 1-0, finally riding for the brand.
And I'm getting back on my soapbox and saying that if they just hit and rap and drive, then that play doesn't happen.
You heard it here first from Hunter. Book your plane tickets to Omaha today.
But we're not done yet.
No, shot. You're not
Are
serious.
you kidding me? So that's the third time.
That's terrible. Did you believe this was possible at the beginning of the season?
Oh, I always believe.
Always drink the Kool-Aid.
That's all it is for the Cowboys right now.
And good morning on this randomly chilly Friday morning. I don't understand why Texas does not want to make up its mind. I'm Michael Alvarez. Joined alongside me is TJ Krilowicz. TJ, how you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, it's a great time for sports. March, love it. Basketball, college basketball, NBA and NHL about to start up their playoffs. The NFL draft is about to come up and the free agency. Super exciting part of the year.
Oh, yeah. I can't get mad with that, especially with the NFL free agency coming up and the draft. I'm a big fan of the draft. I want to see what some Longhorns have to do. So without further ado, let's get into it. We start with the who's hot, who's not. Who's hot for you this week, TJ?
All right, so I said who's hot for me is I'm going to go with the Texas running backs at the NFL Draft Combine. Both did really well in raising their stocks. I would say Bijan Robinson had a great outing, Roschon Johnson as well. They both showed that they could be good running backs in the NFL. Both had good verticals. Bijan had an impressive 4.46 for his 40-yard dash and did great with the pass-catching part of the Combine, which was great to see. In my opinion, I think Bijan solidified himself as the best running back in the NFL draft through this Combine. But I think Roschon showed up as well. It could be hard for him to get recognition when Bijan gets the spotlight, but he had a 4.59 40-yard dash and a 1.52 10-yard split. So I think both of them are going to be pretty solid running backs for whoever drafts them.
Oh, yeah, and I think Bijan's projected maybe lottery, maybe top 20. I have no idea. I mean,
yeah.
he's been up there. He's been shooting up there recently. But for me, I got to say, I got to go with Oral Roberts. I mean, they finished, I know Goose is going to love this one, but they finished the season 17 wins in a row. They won their the Summit League championship. I mean, they have that 7'5" guy. He's a monster. I mean, they have guard Max Abrams, who leads the team in points, assists, and field goal percentage. They lead the league in points per game and least amount of points given up. I mean, I can see them pulling an upset. I think they snuck into like a 14, 15 seed. I swear that if they're a 16 seed, and I've been saying this a long time, if they see Houston in the first round, give me whoever Houston plays, and if it's Oral Roberts, give me Oral Roberts. I don't know why. I'm a big Houston hater for some reason. I don't think they'll do anything. I don't think they'll get out the first one. That's just my pick.
Yeah, that's reasonable. That's reasonable. Oral Roberts, that's pretty good though.
Oh yeah, who's not for you this week, TJ?
All right, so who's not for me? I can't believe I got to say this. This is too early in the morning for me to rant about the Dallas Mavericks, but the Dallas Mavericks is who's not hot for me today, all right? It's just been a failure since Luka and Kyrie have came together via the trade last month. The offense hasn't been a problem, though, unless you want to talk about the team when the team is down a bucket with 5 seconds left, all right? Let me just put out some of the games that they've had recently, okay? So Minnesota Timberwolves, they were down 2 with about 10 seconds left. They got a turnover, couldn't even get a shot up. They blew a 27-point lead to the Los Angeles Lakers and had a turnover on their final possession where they could have tied the game. The very next game after that, Kyrie missed the three-pointer, a game-winning three-pointer against the Pacers to lose by 2. And then last but not least, we also had the Suns game where Luka missed a wide-open layup to tie the game with the last few seconds. So it's just been a huge failure for the Mavericks recently. Don't even get me started on the defense. It's like watching a 2K game with all the sliders all the way down to 0. It is embarrassing to talk about. So, I mean, and of course you got the looming threat that now Luka might have an injury. He has a left thigh. He just got an MRI yesterday, and the Kyrie might just ditch in the offseason. So they better pick it up before it comes April.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've always heard people say this is not Cleveland anymore, Kyrie. You're not with LeBron. You can't do anything. So I mean, I love that Dallas picked him up. I just don't know if Luka is good with another guard. I think he needs another star big man if they want him successful.
It's going to be interesting.
But for me personally, I had to go with Texas Tech.
Yep.
Last time I was on the show, I chose Texas Tech as my hot team because they had won 4 in a row. Since then, they've dropped their last 4 and 4 must-win games. They need at least 3 of those. And then with that loss, they also lost the conference tournament game, their very first one. So I think all hopes of the NCAA tournament's out. Not to mention the drama with Mark Adams resigning after the drama he stirred up with team talk. I think it was a Bible verse that just it might have been a little misconstrued, but they just haven't. I don't even know if they'll get into the NIT. If they get the NIT, they'll probably win it, but I don't even know if they'll get an invite to that. They've had a really bad slump as they dropped off, and I just don't think Tech can. I mean, I remember we were talking about they had a chance of making the tournament. Now there's absolutely no shot.
Don't believe it.
It's crazy. But moving on, let's go. So Texas had their first conference championship game, or first conference tournament game last night. What were your thoughts on that game?
Well, it gave me a little confidence, I'm not going to lie. I was just happy that they could prove that they could be dangerous at a neutral site. I wish they could have closed out the game a little stronger. I do like Arturo Morris and Dylan DeSuze stepping up when Timmy Allen was out. So a couple things from like the box score. They forced 20 turnovers, which is always great. That's about like a turnover every 2 minutes, which is, that's pretty freaking good. And then we got they also shot 37%, which is not going to beat the good teams. I need to see better quality shots. But I mean, I think that they could be a dangerous team, especially if they fix the shooting, if they fix the shot quality. I'm looking at you, Marcus Carr. And then I mean, I think if they can win one more game, if they can beat TCU tonight, I'll be fully confident that they can go pretty far in the tournament.
I completely agree with you. I mean, they had a great first 30 minutes of that game, and that last 10 minutes I watched was awful. I mean, they had great defense come in the first half, great defense start that first half of that second half, and they kind of fell apart and let Oklahoma State kind of squeeze through. Luckily, they had a lead. They finally had a lead, and they didn't give Oklahoma State a chance to come back into it. But I mean, they got to fix up those inconsistencies. I mean, I like that. I saw Serge Rice at 15 leading scorer. We had 2 other players reach 11. And then we had Ontario Morris come off the bench to give us a smooth 10. But Marcus Carr had a very bad shooting night. I think he went 1 for 9. And they only shot 35. I mean, 35% from the field is actually pretty. From 3 is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering their team, 76. I mean, I can't believe this is the same team that had made 26 free throws in a row, at one point, and now they've kind of dropped off to below par, under 80% as a team, and it's been a struggle to watch. But I think they can make something shake if they move forward. I think they can beat TCU tonight, and then if they see Kansas, I think they can beat Kansas championship, and then keep that swing going into March.
Yeah, let's go.
Moving on to that.
Fully confidence.
Football is back on the 40 acres.
It is.
As we can see, spring ball is just kicking up. Who do you like out of spring ball so far? Who do you think can make the biggest impact going into the season?
I'm going to go with A.D. Mitchell, obviously one of the biggest names that we got from the transfer portal from Georgia. I'm just a big fan of his game. I love wide receivers. I love the offensive part of football. I'm just happy that the Longhorns could snag him, give Ewers another weapon next season. He has amazing talent, great deep threat, which hopefully Ewers can get his deep throws under control for next season so we can fully unlock A.D. Mitchell's potential. And of course, like he just had a touchdown in the national championship against TCU. So I'm hoping history repeats itself. Maybe he scores another touchdown in the national championship in 2024 when the Longhorns are there. I don't know. You heard it here first. Saying.
That's a good take. See, I like that one. I like that one personally. Me, I think I picked 2 players I like, one on defense, one on offense. Okay. I liked Anthony Hill, and I like Cedric. I mean, those are replacing 2 key roles that we lost this offseason, Bijan Robinson and Overshown. And I think Cedric can make a big move with Jalen Blue back there. And what's in the backfield? I'm drawing a blank for some reason.
Jonte Cook?
Jonte Cook. Oh, not Jonte Cook.
Wait.
It's backfield. What's it called? Oh, Keelan Robinson. Keelan Robinson's coming back for his final season. I think those 2 can really find issues. I mean, if you partner in Anthony Hill with Jalen Ford, those are 2 talented guys. I want to see one of them step up and be a leader on the team. I'm leaning towards more Jalen Ford, but if Anthony Hill's the guy, then I think he can probably take it too. Those are probably the 2 biggest names I like to see out of that part, personally. And then moving on to our final question of this block. Lamar Jackson recently just got an unrestricted franchise tag, which means that teams can go after him, but the Ravens have a chance to match any offer they give them, and plus they get 2 first-round picks out of that offer. Where do you see Lamar going if he leaves it all this offseason?
Well, I know I'm boring. I just don't see any other way that he could leave. I don't see any way that the Ravens let Lamar just walk. I think if he does leave, I think there's a good possibility that it could be the Redskins. Or not, I'm sorry, not the Redskins, the Commanders. I'm sorry. But I really think that Lamar stays with the Ravens. It's just, you just can't give up a generational quarterback like Lamar is. You see how their offense is without him, and it's just, you already have a weak wide receiver core. You already have a decently weak offensive line. You need a quarterback that's going to be good at scrambling, and Lamar's one of the best quarterbacks at scrambling. And I mean, the Ravens, you just got to get yourself together, man. You got to get yourself together. You got to re-sign the man. You are nothing without Lamar Jackson. You saw how Tyler Huntley ran the offense in the last part of the last season. You can't let Lamar Jackson go.
I don't know. I mean, that game against the Bengals, they were one catch away from forcing that to overtime. I thought Tyler was about to get it done. But personally, I also don't think Lamar's going to go anywhere. I mean, well, once they put that unrestricted tag on him, like teams like this, the Falcons, the Raiders, they all pulled out of trade talks with him, maybe trying to force him. I remember that. They kind of just dropped off with that. I don't think anyone wants to give up 2 first-round picks for Lamar, even though he's a previous MVP. He is getting kind of old. He's about 27, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they can just get him some offensive weapons, I mean, Devin Duvernay loved the guy, and Mark Andrews, I don't know if they're good enough to kind of push that team into a playoff picture, championship run. I mean, Lamar is a scrambling QB, but I think he needs some threats, too, to give him. I mean, he is a great dual threat, but if he has no receiving threats, he's kind of a running back at this point. So I think there's not really much you can do with that. But I do like to see Lamar be successful. I love Lamar personally. I love his game. So if they can find a way to get him some weapons, I think they can maybe make a playoff run next year. I mean, they always win a good 11, 10 games a season. I mean, Lamar does a good job. They just don't have enough to get over that hump of the AFC.
Yep.
But coming up, we have a familiar face joining us for Versus. Previous host, our usual host, Adam Ogburn, is coming on. You're not going to want to miss it. Coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show. Hello, and welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. We're joined by usual host Adam Ogburn on for the Versus. Adam, how you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's March Madness, conference tournaments. We got a ton of highlights, and I've been promised by these two guys. Apparently, they were going deep into the archives this week, so I think we got some pretty good highlights coming up.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to see the blooper one. I mean, I think we both had some pretty random bloopers in there. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm excited to see what y'all came up with. I haven't peeked yet.
All right, and TJ, we'll start off with you. What is your best men's play of the week?
So my best men's basketball play, I'm going to rock with Wake Forest's game-winning 3 against Syracuse in the second round of the ACC tournament. They got the rebound, they ran it down and sank the shot. It's the shot that sank Joe Boeheim's coaching career. It's pretty crazy. I mean, that's something you'll never forget if you're the Wake Forest player.
47 seasons at Syracuse. And Syracuse kind of gave him the boot, too. It's been a little bit awkward the past couple of days, it seems like, with Boeheim. But
yeah,
what a way to send a legend to retirement, courtesy of the Demon Deacons.
Yeah, I mean, I always love when people get a rebound from like a missed shot or something, and they run it all the way down the court instead of like calling a timeout, because it's just like the offense isn't prepared, the defense isn't prepared. Always fun to see how those situations go.
Oh yeah. All right, and then me personally, I had to go with a big man bank 3 in the Bradley Drake championship game.
I'm intrigued.
By Darnell Brody. Here we go. So, they're already blowing him out. They're feeling hot. I might have to add, this is his 1-3 of the season. Pull up
let's go.
Bank it in. Crowd goes crazy. Everyone's like, oh my God, he just made a shot, no shot. And then his face at the end. I couldn't really see it, but he was shocked too. That's what I give you. Adam, what you going with? It's a good one.
Man, I love buzzer beaters. But the big man, his first and only 3 of the year, this guy's going to be telling this story to his kids, his grandkids. He'd be like, yeah, my 1 3-pointer, I hit it in the Missouri Valley Conference Championship game. You could see how excited his teammates were. I got to go with the Drake big man. That's so unusual to see a big man like that who doesn't, not a stretch guy. He's a big man. Seeing him out behind the 3-point line, he's basically in the wilderness. He doesn't know where he's at. See him bank that in. We'll go with Drake. For the first one.
All right, well, there we go. Moving on. We're 1-0, me up, you 0. Just thought I'd add that there. But TJ, what you got for your best women's play of the week?
All right, so I'm going with Southern Utah. I'm not going to lie, I didn't even know who Southern Utah was till yesterday, but this is a great highlight from the women's team against New Mexico State. All right, so you see right here, they inbound the ball. She shoots it with one hand over 2 players that hit the buzzer beater 30 feet out. I mean, insane. Insane. And they're also down 30-14 at halftime, which is, what a great day for Southern Utah women's basketball fans.
I saw that highlight earlier this week. I did not know they were down 30-14 at halftime. What an absurd comeback.
Yep.
Oh, wow. I mean, I love buzzer beaters. They're personally one of my favorites. I love when people can knock down, because I feel like they can talk the most trash after their buzzer beater win. All right, so moving on, what I thought I'd do is a Leah Parker with a double steal in the Ryder versus Niagara Women's Championship quarterfinal.
Ooh.
Now, here, this is a defense. Might have lost it there.
Oh, man. Did that not go through?
I guess I win the round.
Here we go.
Do we blame? Oh, man. The curse of Adobe Premiere. Well, Adobe Premiere has punished you, sir. And so we've got to go by default to TJ taking home the point on that one. By the way, that's Southern Utah. That buzzer beater is insane. Yeah, we got to go Southern Utah on that one. Tough break there, man. Because you dug deep in the archives.
It was a double steal.
My man going to the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference Women's Quarterfinal to find highlights. That's dedication right there.
Oh, man, that was one of my favorites. But, sometimes technology will hurt you.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll move on to the best NBA play of the week. TJ, what you got?
All right, Pelicans fans, look away. This is on Wednesday night. We had Jaden Hardy's dunk on Jackson Hayes. Now, that was pretty crazy. Let's see right here. He drives in, quick little hezzy right there, and then boom!
Ooh, that's tough.
Right on Jackson Hayes, man. That probably gave him some nightmares. I'm not going to lie. Jason Kidd, please play Hardy more. Please. He's got insane raw talent. That's not one of his first posters either.
A little behind the scenes, our Samantha Pearl, she's in a PR class, and she's writing PR releases for the Pelicans. They may need a PR release for Jackson Hayes after this, man. Homeboy got put in a body bag on that dunk.
Oh, man. I mean, especially with how apparently Dallas has been playing, according to TJ, not been too hot.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you got to play the guy that wants to go make the big
play. In the low light.
TJ had to go scouring through all the Mavericks low lights to find that one highlight.
That was the best part about that game.
Oh, man. All right, so personally, I had to dig into my favorite NBA team. No bias here. Might be a little bit of bias. I have no idea. Austin Reeves.
Oh.
AR-15.
It's a Sooner, right?
Yeah, he's a Sooner, but he's a Laker now, so we can all love
That
him.
might be a demerit, man.
AR with a, I think.
Oh, the premiere, man.
The premiere is not one to show my clips. They're such good clips.
So it was up and under?
So it was a pass out, pass back in. What's it called? Jackson Jr., he was feeling hot that game. He already had 2 blocks. And A15 said, nope, let me reverse under that. Nice smooth move as they were beating the Grizzlies, so it was a great game. I wish we could have saw it. I thought it was a good move. So I mean, if you can't see the play, I don't know how you pick me. But
honestly, I think both y'all get a demerit. We got him showing a Texas Longhorn getting dunked on, and you supporting a Sooner. So no one's getting points in this round. Demerits for everyone. Let's go. Worst blooper of the week.
Worst blooper of the week. All right, TJ, what you got?
Going with the Jordan Poole technical against the Thunder. Still makes no sense. 2 days later, still does not make any sense. Did he pass the ball too hard? Are you not allowed to give bounce passes to the ref? Did he say something beforehand? Does not make any sense at all. Very weird blooper. Refs are very sensitive this year, not gonna lie.
That was a dead ball, and he's just trying to get the ball back to the ref?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I saw that on Twitter. It was he had passed it, and I got, nope, can't do it like that. Tech, and then he just had the face and the hands. I was like, that is crazy. I mean, but that's how the NBA's been recently.
The NBA ref show, man.
It's the script writers are getting kind of crazy with it. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it.
The NFL or the NBA script. Yep.
All right, but moving on to mine. Mine might be a little strange.
Okay.
Brandon Ingram, not playing. Jose Alvarado also not playing. Fooling around on the bench, joking around on the bench, and Brandon Ingram decides to bite him in the arm, just out of nowhere, and it's just maybe the most bizarre thing I've seen in a long time. He just he lost it again, but you saw it.
I saw enough of that.
You saw enough of it. So he was biting him on. I mean, it looked like it was just calm. He just came down, sat down. They're joking around, they're chopping it up, and then he just starts biting his arm, and it's just the most random thing. And you can see how uncomfortable it made Jose feel. But it was just something very bizarre. I've never seen something like that. What you going with here, Adam?
Man, you see questionable ref calls every night, but I've never seen teammates just biting each other on the arm on the bench. So, Michael, you're taking the points on this one. I don't know what's going on. Is that the Pelicans too?
It was the Pelicans.
Man, Samantha, get a PR on this, man. What's going on the Pelicans bench? Come on, you got some writing to do over spring break. So, man, I don't know. All right, so that's 2-1.
2-1 here after our little
as the 1-0 executive producer, this one's worth double, so it's winner take all on the baseball softball play of the week.
Winner take all here. All right. So TJ, what you got?
All right, this one's a big one. All right, so I got Boston College. They had a huge upset against Tennessee this week in college baseball, and it was because of a clutch relay in the bottom of the ninth to win the game. They're tied 6-6 with Tennessee had a runner on third base, 1 out. Look at the relay to the third baseman, right to the catcher. Easy tag. The third base runner, he didn't even touch home plate. And eventually Boston College ended up winning in extra innings. Huge upset. It was just an excellent relay.
Wow.
Very clutch as well.
It's quite the...
Perfectly executed.
A Tennessee player is going to have nightmares about it, too. He had a chance. They had a game-winning run to send the home crowd happy and couldn't get it done. And instead they lost.
Man. See, I'm a big Tennessee hater, so I'm happy with that.
Okay.
That's not bad. We can live with that one.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to a team I also don't think anyone at this school would like. TCU Horned Frogs. Austin Davis saves a home runner against Michigan. Now, again, they were up 6-0. This is just like football. They won by 6 points. They win this game by 6 points. Now, he was able to steal this one here. He pops out. It's like an acrobatic football play.
That's all Minute Maid.
He runs in just a straight. He reaches over like Odell Beckham back in 2014. I mean, hopefully we can see there's another angle here, nice, a lot closer here. He reaches up.
Oh, that was nice, because he's off balance, too.
Smacks into the wall, and just it didn't affect him. I'm glad we got to watch that one. Shout out to Amir for coming in clutch for that one. All right, who you got winning?
Man, Michael, insane catch right there. But TJ, with the game on the line, that's the winning run right there. You got to give it to it. That is one of the best relays I've honestly ever seen. Sometimes it's just a dart the catcher. The fact they get the pitcher in the middle there and they still throw the runner out, I got to go Boston College, the upset victory. TJ, you're taking home the crowd today. Great highlights, though. Y'all went digging into the archives on this one.
We had to dig into this one. It took me about 30 to 45 minutes to find all the plays I wanted, but I think they came out pretty good. I thought we had a little good competition here. It was nice and fun. Great.
That was good. Those were great highlights.
All right. Well, thank you, Adam, for joining us today.
Yes, thanks for having me on.
I'm glad you could come support these great clips. I thought we had a great time with this one.
100%.
But coming up, we have a phone interview with SBS Nation's mid-major Madness journalist Nick Lorensen as he talks about March Madness coming up. You don't want to miss it on the 1-0 Sports Show. Good morning and welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. Little change of plans here. Now we're joined by Texas women's basketball reporter, Daily Texan, Emma Hutchinson. How you doing this morning, Emma?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
I'm all good, all good. I guess we'll move on with our first question here. Texas won its first Big 12 regular season title in 19 years. What was the key to the Longhorns' success this year?
Honestly, I think the key to success was just the team's chemistry overall. After speaking to a bunch of the players just over time, you can definitely tell they all have such a great bond, and you can totally see it on the court as well. And so they've definitely talked about how this year has been the best team chemistry-wise, and you can also definitely see it by the way that they play on the court. So I think that's been their biggest factor.
Yeah, I've been to a few games this season. The Moody Center's been pretty packed out for women's game. We usually don't really have that, but I think the Moody Center's been a big change for both sides of basketball.
It's definitely been a plus. Following on team chemistry, Rory Harmon, she was very critical in a press conference about the lack of effort she believed that her teammates showed in the loss to Baylor last Monday. Do you think that was a message that needed to be sent in that manner ahead of postseason play?
I definitely think so. I was there when she talked about that, and I definitely think it was a message that needed to be sent at the right time, because like we were saying, team chemistry, even if one player is off, it can throw pretty much everything off. So I think everybody just needs to get in the mindset of like, okay, like, gotta play my best games, gotta communicate with my teammates, that sort of thing. So I think she made the right call with that one.
I couldn't agree more. And looking at Texas' path to the Big 12 Tournament Championship, which team do you think could be the biggest obstacle for Texas to overcome?
You know, I was really thinking about this one, and if you look back at their Big 12 schedule, I feel like there's not really a certain opponent that they can't overcome. I'm very confident that they could overcome any opponent that they face. And so I think it's really just the factor of being like at home and away that was really hurting them this season, because they could beat opponents away but couldn't beat them at home, and then vice versa. So I think it's not really a certain opponent that they have to overcome. I think it's maybe just their own mentality and own like pressure, if that makes sense.
Not even those ugly Sooners?
I mean, they've beaten the Sooners more than once, so I think we're in the clear.
All right.
I'm pretty confident about that as well. What's an
confident about
area that Texas needs to improve on heading into postseason play, though?
Definitely turnovers. Pretty much any post-game conference, you'll hear head coach Vic Schaefer talk about the amount of turnovers that the team gets. And so really just eliminating those, getting those down, making sure the players take shots when they can and capitalizing on those opportunities before losing possession. I think that's really going to be their biggest thing.
Okay. And aside from Rory Harmon, what player do you think really needs to play well if the Longhorns want to have success in this postseason?
Definitely, I would almost say two players. I'd pretty much say Shaylee Gonzalez and Taylor Jones, both of who are transfers, so this is their first year on the team. But you'll notice, like, once they get in the groove of things and once they really get in their element, Shaylee and Taylor can just put up points like it's nothing. And so if they're on a roll, then pretty much the whole team is on a roll. So.
And if I'm not mistaken, Shaylee, she had won the Big 12 Newcomer of the Year, right?
She did. She recently won that, which is amazing, but she totally deserves it with the way she's been playing this season, and she's definitely been such a great asset for the team.
Yeah, the veteran presence definitely very valuable, especially at this time. What will be a key for the Longhorns in making a deep tournament run this year?
Ooh, you know, I really don't know. I feel like it all, again, comes back to that team chemistry. And like I was saying, they definitely have the ability to beat any opponent and get very deep in tournament season. And so I think it all just comes back to being consistent with how they play each game, because that was also something that Coach would talk about, that they've been losing lately, is that consistency with their success. So definitely just locking in with each other and making sure they communicate. So, yeah.
All right. Final question. Time for your hot takes.
Okay.
How far do you think they'll go in the Big 12 tournament, and how far do you think they'll go in the NCAA tournament?
Ooh, Big 12 tournament? I'm actually not too sure. I definitely follow NCAA March Madness more than I do like Big 12 tournament stuff, and so I feel like they can go pretty far in Big 12. Again, they've pretty much, I don't know, I feel like they've pretty much taken everybody in the Big 12, whether it's home or away. I definitely feel like they've showed every team that they have what it takes. And then NCAA, I'm definitely positive that they could totally make another Elite Eight appearance, if not go even farther than that. Because under Vic Schaefer, they have made it to the Elite Eight, I believe, for the past 2 years in a row. And so I could definitely see them making another appearance or going even further. So.
All right, we heard it here first. Elite Eight run, tournament championship. All right. Well, thank you so much, Emma, for coming on. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, and then coming up next, don't go anywhere. We have Ikey joining us, and we'll be going for the pick'ems. Stay tuned next time on One and Hill Sports Show. morning, and welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. For this segment, we got Pick'ems, one of my personal favorites. So we go through some of the key games coming up in women's basketball, men's basketball, and NBA. Joined alongside us, though, is Ikey Kohler. Ikey, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm ready to get these picks in. Thank y'all for having me on. Thank y'all for watching.
Hey,
Shout
I'm
out.
pointing at you, fans. I'm pointing at you. Appreciate y'all coming out. All right, so I guess we'll start off with women's. We got Texas versus Kansas State for their first game of the women's tournament. TJ, what you got?
I'm obviously going with Texas here. They walked on the Kansas State's campus last week and absolutely obliterated them 80-42. I have complete confidence that they're going to win. Knock on wood. I mean, they've hit their stride. Other than their loss to Baylor last week, they've been really good. And I think this team will be prepared. They'll be less fatigued as well. I mean, Kansas State just played yesterday, so
All right,
give me Texas.
All right, Ikey, who you got?
I agree with TJ here. I think Roy Harmon and Vic Shaver, I think they've got this game on lock. I mean, they beat Kansas State by 30-plus both times, and they've had their number clearly. So I think it's no different today. The Longhorns get it done.
All right, I think I'm going to have to also complete the sweep. I mean, K-State just hasn't shown they have the talent to come beat us. Like Emma said, I don't think anyone in the Big 12 can beat us. I agree with that. Complete the statement completely, so I'm going to get the sweep with Texas. All right, now we have another women's game. We have number 3 Iowa State and number 6 Baylor in their conference game. Ikey, who you got?
I'm rocking with the Iowa State Cyclones. You know, out of the two, they're the only team that gave Texas any trouble this year. So I'm rocking with the Cyclones.
TJ?
I'm going to have to go with the Cyclones as well. I picked out a player on their team, Ashley Jones. She averages 21 points a game. She averages 25 against Baylor. And also, the men's team just beat, the Iowa State men's team just beat Baylor. So, you know, like I said earlier, history repeats itself.
All right, personally, I'm not going to complete the sweep this time. I think the women's team's going to avenge the men's team, and I think Baylor comes out on top. I think Baylor's played. I mean, Baylor. I think they match up pretty well against Iowa State. I mean, I think they beat them. I think they went 1-1 in their series this year, and Baylor also beat Texas this year, and that's one of the top teams. Texas, obviously, a team to beat in the Big 12, so I got to go with Baylor here. All right, moving on. Now we go to men's side. We have Kansas against Iowa State. Iowa State coming off that win against Baylor, as poor Baylor just can't get enough of it today. TJ, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with, not Iowa State this time. I'm going with Kansas. I just really like how they play. Their starting lineup, DeJuan Harris Jr., Grady Dick, Jalen Wilson. I mean, it's just like, it's hard to find a better starting lineup in college basketball than what Kansas has. So give me Kansas in a blowout.
Ikey?
I think it'll be a little bit closer of a game, but I'm going to go with the Jayhawks as well. You know, Iowa State had a great win against Baylor, but I think their run in the Big 12 tournament comes to an end. And I want to talk about sophomore KJ Adams for Kansas, who's been starting a lot more games this year, and he's been a hard player to defend. So I got the Jayhawks.
To complete the sweep with y'all here too. Kansas, one of the deepest teams in the nation, definitely one of the deepest teams in the Big 12. They are number 1 seed in the toughest conference in America. I mean, I think Grady Dick's going to be a big turning point for this game if he can play well, and I think I got to go with the sweep Kansas here too. All right, now moving on to another men's game. Now we have Texas versus TCU, who just recently beat K-State last night. Going to get for Texas. This is the semifinal. Who you got, Ikey?
I'm taking the Longhorns. You know, no shock here. I know TCU is a great team. They've got a couple big men down low, but, you know, it's going to be tough. Some would say that it would be tough, you know, with Timmy Allen being out, but given the way Dylan DeSue stepped in and played last night, he had a double-double, 11 points, 11 rebounds. And if Dylan DeSue can control the paint, you know, and we can keep our defense playing how we did yesterday against Oklahoma State, I think Texas is going to get the win today.
All right, I'm going to have to agree with you here. I got Texas winning, too. I mean, TCU has been a team that's given us problems this year. We went 1-1 with them. One of them took an 18-point comeback to win it up in Austin. Then we went down and lost in Fort Worth. But I think they're a deeper team. I think they got more confidence coming in. I think they can take the win. All right, TJ, what you got?
Completing the sweep. Let's go Longhorns. A little biased, I don't know, maybe. TCU's a really dangerous team, really good transition team, but I just like the Texas's veteran presence over this, especially at this time of the year. Also, we got to prove that we're the better Horn team, and TCU's just not even a real Texas college. They're just imposter. So
It's just a little private school. No one likes them anyway.
Exactly.
Just little bro.
All right, moving on to the American East Championship. We got UMass. You got UMass Lowell versus Vermont. TJ, who you got?
Give me Lowell to win the American East. Love me a good upset. They beat Vermont earlier in the season. Why not again? They have a good offense. They actually average more points per game than Vermont. So give me UMass.
Ikey?
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I'm going the lead course, so not so fast, my friend.
Is that the first time we disagree?
I'm taking Vermont here, and these two teams are good teams. They split the regular season series, but the difference is going to be Vermont's home court advantage. They won the last time they were at home against Lowell, and I think they're going to pull it out today and make another run at the NCAA tournament.
I'm going to have to agree with Ikey here. Vermont has on, I think, a 12-game win streak. They're the number 1 seed in the conference. They, like he said, they did win last time at their home place. I do think Vermont does it too. All right, moving on. Now we have an ACC championship. Now we have Duke versus the winner of Miami. Okay, so we have Duke, Miami versus the winner of Clemson, Virginia. And I'm pretty sure it was Duke and then Virginia came out. Duke and Virginia are the 2 teams. Who y'all got winning, TJ?
I like Virginia to take the ACC tournament. It's a little weird to not see like some powerhouses in the ACC this year for basketball. They always do, but I think they keep going with the momentum all the way to the title. They just beat North Carolina. It was a solid victory, and it's always tough to beat North Carolina. So, going with Virginia.
Ikey?
I'm going to have to go with Virginia as well. You know, a couple weeks ago, they stumbled a little bit and they turned it around, and you know. My buddy goes Virginia, so I'm going to have to go with the Cavaliers.
All right, I'm going to have to go with the Blue Devils here. I'm about to not complete the sweep here. I mean, they're on a 7-game win streak. I think if they get past Miami, I think they can go and beat Virginia in the title game, depending on if Virginia makes it to the title game. I think they've been hot this year. I mean, I know losing their coach, Coach K, is obviously a big loss, but Duke's finished 3rd in the ACC. I think they're a hot team. I think they can do it.
Yeah, they could still do it.
Oh, yeah. All right. And now we move on to the Big East tournament. We got UConn versus Marquette and Creighton versus Xavier. Who do y'all got? Who do y'all like coming out of this one? Ikey?
I'm going to go with Creighton. And, you know, I was really impressed by the way they played Texas tight this season. You know, they almost beat us at Moody. And I don't know, I think they've got something in them in March, maybe a little Creighton magic down the road. So I'm going with Creighton.
You know, that's a good one. I was going to go with Creighton, too, originally, but I switched my answer at last second. I'm going Connecticut. This one's tough. I always like UConn in March. They have a really good offense, provides a lot of scoring. They have Adama Sanogo and Jordan Hawkins, both great offensive players. I think they pull it out.
All right. I'm going to have to say no to both of y'all. I'm personally going to go with Marquette. I mean, Shaka's smart. Obviously showed he could be a good coach here. He's been a good coach over there. He kind of been a surprise this year. I think they're in the borderline 2 team, I think, right now. They've been a very hot team, the number 1 team in their conference. I got to go with Marquette. All right, moving on to the Pac-12 tournament championship. There's 4 teams left. We got Oregon versus UCLA and Arizona State versus Arizona. Who do y'all like coming out?
I'm going to go with the favorite of the Pac-12, UCLA. They've been on a tear recently. It's the only team that can challenge. The only team that can challenge them is Arizona, and I just think that UCLA has too much offensive power for Arizona to stop. So go Bruins.
Ikey?
I'm going to go with UCLA as well. You know, they're a team with a lot of veterans, and they're, you know, very high scoring, and they've been essentially a lock for the 1 seed all year, constantly playing in the top 10. So I'll go with UCLA, but don't be surprised if Arizona State gives Arizona some trouble tonight. You know, the Sun Devils. You know, they had a 60-foot buzzer beater to end the regular season, and they're also playing for their March Madness live. So keep an eye on Arizona State tonight.
Cooking up an upset.
All right. And yes, I know UCLA has been hot this year, especially this backstretch of the season. But again, I'm going to have to disagree with both of you. Personally, let's go with Arizona. Yes, they're a streaky team, but they have the guard play that have just been hot all year. Talk about Courtney Ramey. Miss the guy, love the guy. I think Arizona can pull it off. All right, then moving on to the Women's Big 12 Tournament Championship. Who y'all got winning?
I got the Longhorns. Texas fight. You know, I got Roy Harmon and Schaefer leading this team to victory. You know, that's what Schaefer does in March. He wins. You know, they've been to 2 consecutive Elite Eights, and I think they keep the streak going. So go Horns.
TJ?
Yep. Give me Texas as well. They dominated on offense and defense. They co-shared the title with Oklahoma, and they already beat Oklahoma by bad. I mean, they beat Oklahoma badly both times they played. So, I mean, like I said on College Press on Monday, there's also Shaylee Gonzalez. If she's scoring, this team is unstoppable. They're 13-0 when Gonzalez scores more than 12 points, and the closest game out of those 13 games was a 9-point victory. So they're just dominating when she scores. So, give me Texas.
I think I'm going to have to go with the Sooners. Just kidding. No one likes that fraudulent organization. No one likes Norman, Oklahoma anyway. Give me the sweep. Give me Texas, too. They are the best team in the Big 12. I think Roy Harmon can lead this team. Shea Gonzalez lighting up from anywhere on the court. Complete the sweep. Texas comes out on top.
Yeah. You scared me there for a second.
No, you know I can never do that. Not to this great school. All right, and moving on to our final one, we have the Men's Big 12 Tournament Championship. Now, this one could be interesting. Ikey, who you got?
I'm going with the Longhorns. You know, I think they make the sweep of the men's and the women's Big 12 tournaments, and that's never happened before. But, I mean, the way this Texas team is playing, you know, they ended the regular season, you know, absolutely with a dominant performance against Kansas, and yeah, I don't really see anyone stopping them. This TCU game is going to be very telling. If they can get past TCU and control the paint. Yeah, I'm giving it to the Longhorns.
Ikey, I'm going to have to agree with you and also go with Texas. They're a great team. They're second in the Big 12. I mean, if they can stay consistent shooting the ball, which sometimes they can't, they can get very streaky. If they can get Marcus Carr going, which he struggled recently, I think they can take it off. Take it all. All right, TJ, finish us off.
They only need 9 more wins to win the Natty as well.
Yeah, that's 9
in a row.
I can do that.
If you only watch the show, you might think that the Longhorns are the greatest basketball franchise in the entire world. I'm going to have to break the streak, though. I hate to do this. I'm going with the Jayhawks. I have to. They're just more of a complete team. They have shooting. They have good shot creators, ball handling. They have it all. Jalen Wilson, great talent. I just can't pick Texas yet. They won one game, neutral site, but I just can't. They don't dominate outside of the Moody Center. The Moody Center's their home, and they win all their games there. So we'll have to see how they do in Kansas City, but I just can't pick them right now.
This guy, Jayhawk lover.
Dude.
DJ gotta ruin the vibe. He's gotta ruin the vibe. We have Texas all around, you know. He just wants to come kill it. All right, well, just one more thing we can do. Next, we're gonna go back to our phone interview with SBS Nation mid-major journalist, Madness journalist Nick Lorensen, as he talks about the up-and-coming tournaments and NCAA tournament. You'll want to come watch that, so stay tuned. Coming up next on the 1-0 Sports Show.
Texas finally 1-0, finally right.
We good? Great block, guys.
Hi, and welcome back to the One and O Sports Show. We are joined with SBS Nation's mid-major madness journalist, Nick Lorensen, as he talks about some of the madness coming up. Nick, how you doing this morning?
Doing pretty well. How about you guys?
I'm doing all right. Happy to have you here. We're having a good morning. Might be a little chilly up here, but I think we're going to be all right.
Yep.
All right, so I guess we'll move on into the first question. How did you get your position with mid-major madness, and can you tell us a little bit about your role there?
Yeah, man, so it's an interesting story. So in middle school, I was running all these like little Instagram pages for schools. I had one for UMBC. I had one for Duquesne. And of course, UMBC over this last couple of years had one of the greatest moments in NCAA tournament history, first 16-over-1 upset. And UMBC didn't have an Instagram page. So everyone was tagging me. All the big pages were tagging me. Steph Curry was tagging me. ESPN was tagging me. USA Today. All these big Ravens, all these big pages were tagging me, and the athletic department reached out. They're like, "Can we have your username?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if you give me an internship out of it." So I ended up getting an internship out of it, and I started working for them in a year, and I started writing for Mid-Major Madness. And then when their old social media guy left last year to work for Kevin Durant at Boardroom, I took over. It was around January. We had around 24,000 followers. And the last year or whatever, I've just been manning the social media account. So now we're at 49.8, almost hitting 50,000. I never expected this, but it's been a fun ride.
Wow, that's quite the story there. I like the little ultimatum you gave about I do this for you, you do this for me. I like that little pass off there.
Yeah, man, congratulations on all that. That's pretty cool. So you were talking about UMBC. What has been the biggest surprise of championship week so far in your eyes this year?
I'd say probably Northern Arizona's run to the championship. They were a 9 seed. You know, they were playing games close all year, but they just couldn't pull them out. They had some insane things. There was a game against Portland State where Portland State threw it all the way down the court, and they like had a fader with like 7 seconds left and ended up winning it. There were some crazy results this year, but everything just seemed to go their way this week. That's the awesome thing about this week. There's a lot of underdogs and Cinderellas who make these runs, and they were one of those. They fell short in the championship, but I mean that was just awesome.
Yeah,
that was probably the biggest surprise this week.
I mean, I love those little tournament teams because they got so much on the line. They're playing for their spot in the NCAA tournaments. Those are always the most entertaining. But moving on, what conference championship are you most looking forward to keeping your eye on this weekend?
Maybe Conference USA because, you know, Florida Atlantic at this point, they already have a spot in the NCAA tournament. They're probably going to be an 8 or a 9 seed. They went on a 20-game win streak in the middle of the season. But there's 2 really good teams. They're going to actually face off today at 3:30 Eastern time. One of them close to you guys, North Texas. They have a great defense over there. Grant McCaslin. They have the CUSA Player of the Year, Tyler Perry. They could win a game in the NCAA tournament. And they're going to play UAB, who made the tournament last year. They have Jelly Walker, who's one of the best players in college basketball. Really flashy, shoots the ball really well. The winner of that game, I think, has a legitimate chance to beat FAU and make the Conference USA a 2-bid league, which hasn't happened since 2013, I want to say. And that's back when Memphis was in the league. And they had, like, a couple years before that, they had, like, Derrick Rose and, like, John Calipari was there. So it was a completely different league. But this is their last year in that little formation. Last time UAB and North Texas are going to face off as American teams. So whoever wins that game and goes up against FAU tomorrow, if FAU gets past Middle Tennessee, that starts in about 30 minutes, it's going to be a 2-bid league, and they're going to be a bid stealer in this really weak year for the NCAA tournament bubble.
Wow. I'm going to agree with you on the North Texas one. I was talking about that the other night. I was saying don't sleep on North Texas. I've always loved North Texas for some reason. They've always drawn my attention. I can see them making something big.
Shout out Mean Green, all the way in Denton, Texas.
Shout out Denton.
If they beat FAU, they should be definitely a lock. I'm ready for them, man. They're always a fun team. All right, so heading into the tournament, though, who's a mid-major that you think might be overrated at the moment?
Yeah. Circling back, I'm not too high on FAU. They, at the beginning of the season, they didn't change anything up. They just had the guys come off their bench, and they really didn't do all too much. Or they did all the work. The starters didn't do all too much. They came off the bench, and I just feel like they really don't have the firepower to do all that much in the month of March. It stinks, though, because they'll probably be the highest mid-major team ranked out there, but I don't think they're anything too special.
Gotcha.
All right, and then who is a player or two that the country doesn't know about you think could make a name for themselves in March Madness?
If we want to stay with mid-majors, a lot of people know Max Asmus because he had that NCAA tournament run a couple years ago. But he's still a little bit unknown because he plays at Oral Roberts. He's going to put up a lot of points. And he might not be – there's a lot of players on this team that do a lot of things on Charleston. But Dalton Bolin, when Charleston makes a run, and I say when because they're going to make a run. They're a really good team. People are kind of sleeping on them because, you know, they have a low net ranking or whatever. Dalton Bolin is one of the most interesting players I've ever covered. He's a nutcase, and he embraces being a nutcase. But people are going to fall in love with him. Like when I was at the CAA tournament on Sunday, I believe it was, so it was the quarterfinals, empty arena, just media because they're warming up, and he looks over to us, he yells out, "Where's Joe Biden at?" Joe Biden never came out that week, but he was called him out. He wanted him to be there for the CAA tournament. He's just such a funny guy. The country's going to fall in love with him, and they're going to fall in love with Pat Kelsey's son, Johnny Ballgame. Yeah, those are two guys I'd keep an eye out for during the NCAA tournament.
Very interesting. So instead of the players, let's talk about the team. So around the 12 seed line and below, give us a couple teams that you think could end up being Cinderellas in the tournament next week.
Yeah, that Charleston team I talked about, I think they're really good. They're really good. They play they're so locked in on defense. It's insane. And they run a quick style offense. So they push from one side of the court to the other in like 2 seconds. And it could make the best of defenses messed up. And Drake's back in the NCAA tournament was an at-large bid a couple years ago, but they won't have to play in the first four or anything. They'll be a 12 seed. They're really experienced, and they have Tucker DeVries, who's kind of like a Doug McDermott when Doug McDermott was at Creighton, because Tucker DeVries, Dougie McBuckets, he's still killing it in the NBA. Yeah, Tucker DeVries, his dad's the head coach, just like what happened with Dougie McBuckets, and player of the year. He's the young guy with all the experience around him, so if they get the right team, they could do something.
Oh yeah, I mean I completely agree. I mean those teams always can make a push. But I guess final question I'll ask you here is which mid-major do you think ends up making the deepest run in the tournament?
I'm going to circle back to Charleston. I really do love this team. When I walked out the arena on Tuesday, first I walked out and I couldn't even walk out without something crazy happening. They did like a lap around the court, and Edwin Diaz trumpets. They did like clapped along, doing it in a circle in the middle, and then did Daniel Bryan yes stuff. It was crazy. But I told the CAA sports information director, I'm like, I'll see you at the Final Four. And he's like, I'm not going unless Charleston's going to be there. I said, I'll see you at the Final Four. So I really do think this team is just so together and locked in on both ends of the court that they could make a run if they get the right draw. If they play like Virginia in the first round, they could really expose that defense, which no one's ever really been able to do. But they could put up a legitimate amount of points and mess around with Virginia. I want to see them play an ACC team in the first round. I want to see them go to Orlando because that's where I'm at. I want to see that run. But give me the Cougs. I love the Cougs, obviously.
Oh, man.
Nice. Got to pick Charleston in your brackets now, guys.
We got the professional here. He's telling us how to do it. This is who I think I'm going to pick as well. I mean, especially Virginia. I mean, they lost not too long, like a few years back to a 16 seed. They might just do it again.
Been on the bad side of history.
All right. Yes, sir. All right. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It was a pleasure having you.
Appreciate appreciate you guys having me on. I'm sorry that I ran a little late.
It's all good. Just happy to
It's
have
always fun to support student journalism.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. And that's it for this morning. But make sure to tune in 2 weeks from now, and 2 weeks from this Friday coming up. I'm sorry. The spring break's kind of putting me on the edge here. There's too many weeks ahead of us here. But 2 weeks from now, please tune in 10 a.m. on another Friday. Also check out our sister shows, College Press Box on Monday night at 9:30 p.m. and College Crossfire hosted by Tommy Yarsh on Wednesday nights at 9. Have a good day and have a safe spring break.
Let's go.